Hey folks, welcome back to Talking Wolves. We're here for the match review and reaction from Wolves' 1-0 defeat at Molineux this afternoon, or this evening rather, against Liverpool. Firstly though, that incident right at the end of the game with Rui Patricio looked like, unfortunately he was knocked out in the sort of as Cody was chasing Salah for that disallowed goal. So that sort of overshadows everything really. Obviously as a football fan, and mainly obviously a Wolves fan, I really do hope Rui recovers as soon as possible and it's not as serious as maybe it looked tonight. So I'm sure you guys will all believe the same, that we wish him all the best, and we are as a club possibly an international break now. Hopefully during that time he can recover and we see him back in between the sticks as soon as possible. But looking at the game overall for Wolves, we saw Willy Bolly return to the starting lineup. So it was a starting lineup of Patricio, Saiss, Cody, Bolly, Nelson, Semedo and Johnny, Neves, Matinho, Neto, Willian, Jose and Adama. And I've got to say, the first half, much better, much more positive start from us. I think Nuno and Cody had made comments on it after the Villa game that we just started way too slow. But what we were doing, we were getting the ball, being a lot more positive with it. We were getting plays into the area a lot more. We didn't really, we probably didn't get in as many crosses as I would have liked at times, but I certainly saw it where Neves, Neto, Adama were breaking into the box a lot more. We wanted to get at Liverpool. Nelson was breaking forward more. Johnny was as well. So overall, we we put more pressure on them. I've got to say, Wolves should have had a penalty very early doors though. 2 minutes in, Alisson. I'm not too sure what's happened to him this season, but there have been a number of players which just haven't sort of been playing at their usual qualities and usual levels, and he's you could say one of those players. Drops the ball again and sort of just barges into Semedo. Can't believe VAR hasn't had a look at that as well after Pawson, who in my opinion had a very poor performance as referee tonight. But you've got this technology in to sort of iron out those sort of issues. But I've said it before, no disrespect Liverpool fans, when it's Wolves against one of these big boys, those sort of fine decisions will never go our way. But yeah, first half was very positive. Probably one of our better first halves. Although it wasn't great, but for Wolves standards, it was good because we've seen how poor we've been in some of the previous games, especially recently. But yeah, in the end, it was just one mistake, and it was unfortunately by Patricio. Really, we opened up too much. It was way too easy for Liverpool to get this. It was Salah to Mane. Mane just a deft little touch to Jota, who sort of struck across the ball, and Patricio's got to be doing better, to be fair. But saying that, he's putting some unbelievable performances for us in recent weeks, in the last month or so, and it's just one of those as a goalkeeper, unfortunately. And for Wolves, this is still the difference, and I'm sure I would have said this when we got promoted and that first season in the Premier League. The main difference between teams like Wolves and teams like Liverpool, Man City, is that they'll need one chance and they'll take it. Clubs like us, when we waste chances, we'll get punished for it. And we saw that with Wolves today. I wouldn't say as such we had any clear-cut opportunities, but we really lacked that final ball at times today. The second half, especially, I thought the sort of first half of that second half, we weren't as adventurous maybe as we were in the first half. I don't think we put too much pressure on Liverpool. It was such a shaky back four. We didn't put enough pressure on them as a team. But again, there's just certain players in the squad today which you look at and think, I don't want to keep talking about them. Adama Traore again. Some will say he had a decent performance, which I think some of his spells on the ball, especially towards the end of the game, were very positive. But we've got to be seeing that for the other 85, 90 minutes of the game. There's no point in doing it in today's case, the 110th minute. We've got to be seeing that a lot earlier. Not 110, I don't think the game went on that long. But, 100th minute, we've got to be seeing that a lot earlier in the game. I don't think he tested Liverpool enough. Robertson, arguably, possibly not this season, but arguably one of the best left-backs in the world. I thought he showed a couple of his qualities today, but Adama should be beating him in those races, and I don't think we put enough pressure really on Robertson. I thought Semedo did a good job, playing a lot higher up on that right-hand side, but Jose again, it's just one of those. His link-up play was spot on today, I thought. much better, and I actually saw him making a lot more movements into the area. But for the goal, the Liverpool goal, he lost the battle, which you probably would have backed him to win. I think the big centre half for Liverpool won that battle, which allowed them to break and create the opportunity. But Jose again, for me, I look at Fabio, who's come on and put two decent efforts, or got himself in two decent positions straight away. If we're whipping those sort of balls in, and this isn't a dig at Jose, if he's getting into those positions and we're whipping those balls into him, I think I'd back him to be scoring a couple of those opportunities that Fabio had this evening. But not enough impacts from our key players. And, I felt, we kept ourselves in the game throughout the 90. We did quite well at that. But it was a quiet game from Neto again. I don't think he got the ball in enough key areas. And unfortunately for us, if we had two players of Neto and Adama's quality that could play through the middle, I think we would have had much better joy. But you've got our two best players, or two better players, arguably against two of the best fullbacks in the world. So they're always going to defend well against it. And Mane, Jota and Salah, I thought we restricted them quite well. But like I said earlier, one opportunity and they'll take it. Mane had an opportunity where he rounded Patricio, but Patricio closed that angle quite well. And then towards the end of the game where Salah put it in the back of the net, but he was offside. And, I don't want to touch on this too much, but there's the argument of this sort of rule that is coming due to VAR, that, the linesmen are taking that little bit longer to put their flag up. If he put his flag up straight away, would the game have stopped? Would that incident with Patricio been, stopped? Possibly, but, it's just those sort of things, unfortunately. But it was an okay performance by Wolves. We've played a lot worse this season. There's probably only a handful of games we've played better, because there have only been a few of those. But you look at our run-up now, you maybe take West Ham out of that, we've got a really favourable run-up, and you'll hope we can put a smile back on the faces of the supporters sooner rather than later. But incidents like today, I might be wrong, one of the first uses of a concussion sub in the Premier League, to see John Ruddy come on. But yeah, incidents like that today just leave a bit of a sour taste, and just sort of, you look at the season, I think the sooner it's over, the better. Get a fresh start for the 21-22 season. But guys, let me know your thoughts anyway on the game. Liverpool punishing Wolves, using their quality, a couple of decent opportunities, and at times you could tell their quality, but a 1-0 defeat in the end for Nuno and the boys. But be sure to hit the like button, guys. As always, subscribe to the channel if you're new. There should be a Talking Wolves podcast going out later this week, hopefully. And until next time, guys, enjoy the international break. I'm sure I'll push some content out over the next couple of weeks. But I'll see you all very, very soon.